Not handling medications properly, failing to supervise residents, even letting one wander out the door, having exposed heating pipes, a lack of hot water, and dirty floors. Those just a few of the violations that the New York State Department of Health has issued against a Troy senior living facility over the past few years. And tonight, our investigative reporter Jennifer Lewke speaks with a former employee at Fawn Ridge about what she says she saw inside the facility. Here's the real deal.
Alina Lewke was hired as an aide at Fawn Ridge in Troy. She showed up for her first night of work in June and says she got a bad feeling almost immediately as she was being trained by another woman.
As I was being trained, there was one hall, I don't know if I mentioned this, she wouldn't even continue walking down because of the bugs flying in the air and the smell. She wouldn't continue walking down that hallway.
And there were patients in that hallway?
Yes, there was residents, yes, in that hallway.
As an LPN, Aline says she's worked in a number of senior care facilities in the past. This one, she says, was different. She claims the medications, some of which were controlled substances, weren't handled properly.
I've always cared about the elderly, and no one, whether they're mentally incapacitated like these residents are, should be living in conditions like this, as far as I'm concerned. I really care.
So much so, she says, as soon as her shift was over, she called the County Office of the Aging, the State Health Department, and the Medicaid Inspector General's office to file formal complaints about what she encountered. When she brought her allegations to us, we did some digging. We requested complaint and inspection data from the New York State Health Department for Fawn Ridge for the past 2 years, which actually doesn't include the time Aline worked there. This week, we received hundreds of pages of documents which indicate that in 2014, Fawn Ridge had more complaints filed against it than almost any other adult care home in the state. 27 times the health department was called in for immediate inspections. In 15 of the cases, it cited the facility for issues ranging from environmental standards to resident services to food service and resident privacy and protection issues. So far this year, 18 complaints have been filed. 11 of them resulted in citations for issues like not handling medication properly, failing to make proper death notifications, not supervising residents properly, a lack of hot water, and dead bugs on the floor, just to name a few. In its responses to the State Health Department over the past 2 years, the facility has disputed some of the violations it's racked up, particularly the medication and privacy concerns and the lack of hot water. Others, it promises, have been rectified. An attorney for Fawn Ridge declined our request for an on-camera interview, but told me over the phone when you're running the largest mental health senior living facility in the area, some violations come with the territory. He claims administrators work hard to maintain a safe environment for the residents who live here. As for Aline, she only spent one night working at Fawn Ridge. She was let go via a voicemail the next day, claiming the facility was overstaffed and her services were no longer needed.
Isn't this our dollar, our tax money going to Medicaid? And there's over 114 residents there. They have 150 beds. And if people are being treated like this, they just take more and more residents in and collect all this money. Where is it going?
To remind you, Aline's complaint isn't even in these records yet because it is still being investigated by the Department of Health. But she recently received a letter saying that inspectors substantiated parts of it during a recent investigation. So we will continue to monitor this situation. That's The Real Deal. I'm Jennifer Lewke.
And we want you to know that we posted this story and all of Jennifer's Real Deal stories on our website. Just go to cbs6albany.com, and if there's something you like The Real Deal on, you can always reach Jen at therealdeal@cbs6albany.com.